The following program is rated PG and may contain coarse language and/or mature subject matter. Viewer discretion is advised.
Deep in the forests of BC's interior, the Canadian mountain men fight a daily war. Not against wolves or weather, but against nature's tiniest jerks. Mosquitoes. They're flying syringes with anger issues. Black flies who don't suck blood, but harvest souls. No-see-ums don't bite you. They emotionally wound you and then ghost you like a bad Tinder date. And let's not forget ticks, who treat your legs like all-you-can-eat buffets. But back at camp, it's worse. Mice throw rave parties in your food bin, and packrats steal your tools to build overpriced condos. Don't forget squirrels, those twitchy-tailed lunatics that chew your toilet paper rolls just for fun. Unfortunately, bug sprays just marinate to most of these creatures. The mountain men scratch, swat, and scream through the season, dreaming of winter when the only thing biting is frost. Out here, you're not exploring nature, you're the seasoning. In this episode, we will cover how to survive the wilderness pests or die trying.
When the snow finally retreats and the bush comes alive again, it doesn't come quiet. It hums, it bites, it chews. Pest season in the Canadian wilderness isn't just an inconvenience, it's a full-on assault. The mosquitoes rise first, thick as smoke, whining in your ears from sunup to sundown. Then come the black flies, carving their mark one bite at a time. Midges and no-see-ums slip past your defenses like ghosts, leaving nothing but the itch to remind you they were there. And just when you think you've endured the worst of it, you find a tick buried in your skin, hitching a ride like it owns the place. But it's not just the air that's alive with trouble. On the ground, and sometimes in your pack, mice chew through gear like it's part of their diet. Squirrels and packrats raid anything not nailed down. Food, leather, even tools. Nothing is sacred. Out here, pest season tests more than your patience, tests your grit. Because a Canadian mountain man doesn't get to call it quits when the bugs roll in. He adapts, he endures, and learns that in the bush, you're never alone. Not for a second. And if you make it through pest season, itching, swatting, and swearing, you've earned your place out here.
I tell you, live and die by these thermocells. They are excellent at keeping the mosquitoes back. It puts out a radius, I think something like 15 feet, they stay back. What I find if you put it near an open door or a door that gets opened or your tent around the opening of that does keep the mosquitoes away. And it works pretty good. It uses a butane in there. And then there's this little pad that goes in. Pads you have to change out, I don't know, maybe every 6 hours or so as this stuff gets burnt up.
Yeah, another thing you have to realize with mosquito season is, like I said, these thermocells work really great. But there's also situations where some of it do get by and get into your tent or your cabin or whatever, and then these little guys come in handy, the little tennis rackets. You push your little button here and it sends this electrical pulse, and it just like the 4th of July. I mean, there's none around me now because, like I said, I've got the thermocell chucking away here, so that pushes them back away. But this is really handy to have, and it's actually a lot of fun. Another thing I've got inside, I'll show you, is called a bug assault. It's a fun one. It's like a little gun that you pump air in it, and it shoots table salt, and you use that to shoot at and kill flies when they're getting in there. You could do it, try it if you want to on a flying mosquito, but you're gonna have to be a really good crack shot. But it works really, really good, and it is a fun way to get rid of flies instead of trying to swat them with a fly swatter. You turn it into a nice little fun game that everybody loves.
And then there's the vacuum sucker where you can suck up the flies, and they all just stay in here. And if you're really hungry, you can always eat that as protein. Well, I guess I really kind of need to clean up after a day putting the garden in. But anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about DEET. Some people swear by DEET. The only time I really used it heavily was when I was on location on the big island of Hawaii in the jungle, when we were shooting the Indiana Jones jungle sequence for Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. The only thing we really did, as far as we could tell, was melt the plastic on our pencils. We could hold our pencil like stuck right here. And it also took the finish off the computer. So we weren't a really big fan of that. We talked to some of the locals, and they gave us some a place to go in town to get some herbal mix that the locals used. And it kind of reduced the amount of bites that we were getting. So whether that was due to that or whether it pushed them over to the next person who was still using DEET and stuff. But the stuff that I get at Canadian Tire works pretty good for these BC ones. For whatever reason, it just seems like it keeps them away. It's not too noxious, and just wash up before you go to bed. Yeah, that's the no-see-um right there. I see him. He's really small. Well, I got bit up by the no-see-ums this weekend.
Out here in the Canadian bush, you don't measure the day by hours. You measure it by bites. But what most folks don't realize is, you're not alone in this fight. Every evening, just as the sun dips and the bugs think they've won, the counterattack begins. First wave, dragonflies. Absolute aerial assassins. One dragonfly can eat hundreds of mosquitoes a day, sometimes more if they're feeling ambitious. They don't just snack, they hunt. Mid-air interceptions, no warning, no mercy. Then come the swallows cutting through the sky like fighter jets. A single swallow can take down hundreds, sometimes over 1,000 insects a day when feeding chicks. Mosquitoes, midges, flies. If it's airborne, it's fair game. As darkness settles in, the night shift clocks in. Bats, silent, fast, ruthless. One little brown bat can eat 600 to 1,000 mosquito-sized insects in a single hour. That's not a typo, that's a massacre. Multiply that by a whole colony, and suddenly the night air starts feeling a little less hostile. Meanwhile, on the ground, the heavy hitters move in. Wild turkeys and grouse patrol like feathered vacuum cleaners. They're not picky. They'll gobble up ticks, beetles, larvae, and all the creepy crawlies hiding in the underbrush. Especially in spring and summer, insects make up a big chunk of their diet. Every tick they eat is one less climbing up your pant leg later. And here's the kicker. All together, dragonflies, swallows, bats, and ground birds can remove tens of thousands of biting insects per acre, per day in a healthy ecosystem. That's not just helpful. That's a full-scale, coordinated assault. So next time you're swatting bugs like a madman in the woods, just remember, you're not the main character out here. You're just the bait. And somewhere above you, below you, and all around you, nature's commandos are running Operation Bug Strike, keeping the bloodsuckers in check, one bite at a time.
Meanwhile, another pest control crew is on duty. Frogs and toads hammer mosquitoes, black flies, and moths all night long, while gardener snakes, boas, gopher snakes, and rattlesnakes keep mice and rodents from taking over the woodpile. That croaking and slithering in the dark? That's the Slytherin Hot Patrol, protecting the Canadian wilderness one pest at a time.
Mosquitoes think they run the airspace, but under the water there's a whole other army waiting for them. While skeeters skim the surface, laying eggs like tiny helicopters on a mission, the SAF, the Special Aquatic Forces, are already mobilized. Trout and hungry fish patrol the deep like underwater torpedoes, vacuuming up larvae before they ever get wings. Dragonfly and damselfly nymphs stalk the shallows like miniature assassins. Diving beetles, backswimmers, water mites, newts, and salamanders all join the fight, turning every pond and creek into a bug-eat-bug war zone. Nature doesn't waste food out here. To a Canadian mountain man, a trout stream isn't just fishing water. It's the front line in the battle against pest season.
Today we're introducing the elite members of Team Rodent Control, a ragtag crew of furry, feathered, and slightly sketchy professionals. We got the skunk, owl, ermine, fox, coyote, bobcat, weasel, and fisher. Their mission? To reduce the local rodent population one bellyful at a time. These critters skip straight to their action plan: find mouse, eat mouse. It's efficient, environmentally friendly, and comes with absolutely zero paperwork. So if you're a vole, mouse, rat, or squirrel who's having a bad day in the Canadian wilderness, chances are Team Rodent Control just checked in for supper. Got a little BB gun here, and basically I kind of have that handy because I have an issue with squirrels. They always want to chew into sheds or other stuff. They just like to get inside, so you just kind of have to scare them off one way or another. You know, the big thing up here, it's a constant battle with the mice. They always find a way to get in, and so you try to mouse-proof as much as you can. I haven't gone so far as putting up a time-lapse camera or something inside to look and see if I can see where they're coming in, but generally speaking, you hope that natural predators will take care of your problem for the most part. There is a barred owl that I had seen evidence of it around and been hearing it quite extensively at night and every day. You know, they talk a lot, it seems like, the barred owl. And I found 3 feathers out in the yard that showed that there was definitely hanging out here, so it's probably going through a little bit of a molt and stuff. And then yesterday, I actually saw it flying from a tree to another tree, and so went over and was able to capture this footage of it. I was just hanging out, looking around. You know, those are always really friendly predators to have. I also had a situation where I had an ermine. It's kind of like a little weasel that was coming in and getting the stuff. I came back after winter and noticed that the traps had been sprung, but there was nothing in them. But when I went to open to rebait them, these little heads fell out. So I'm like, okay, well, my first thought was, do we have a cannibalistic mouse that is coming along and, chomping down on his mom and dad and brothers and buddies? But later that night, about 2 or 3 in the morning, I hear this thunk, 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 and I get up and see that it's this ermine that has got one of the mouse carcasses that's still in the trap, and it's trying to pull it out. So it's just that thunking was the mouse trap hitting the corner, but that also was an indication of where it was coming in because it was trying to take it to that location. So I've got that all sealed up now, knock on wood. So they haven't come in, but there's still some spot I haven't found yet that the mice are coming in, and I'll be that could be a lifelong quest to find something, in an old cabin like this. It's over 120 years old probably. So it's a very old log cabin but that's what you get along, that's what you learn to expect when you have something that is old, but it's historic. I mean, that's the thing. It's like there's not many of these still around, especially after that many years. And usually what happens is the roof collapses and then the whole thing just kind of rots. I mean, here's a little bit of mix of the traps that I do use. I just got back up here and a couple of them went off. So these little Victor traps are pretty good. They have to lift that little panel right here to get the bait, and when they lift that, it triggers it. So, they have to, if they're really wanting it, when they get in there, there's no way they're going to steal the bait. These little tomcats are good too, but the thing is, I had them out here in the video of the mice running around on them, so it takes a mouse with a little bit more weight to set them off, it seems. And then we've got a couple other varieties here. Pretty much, anyone's. The live traps, I have them. I'm not necessarily a fan of them because, you know, it does make the animal suffer longer. At least the snap traps, it's basically one and done. Got a few other traps. These are live traps here for a bigger critter. And here's one for a little bit of a smaller one. This here's a kill trap. This one mainly is for pack rats. But it's really tricky to keep the bait in there and keep the little mice from getting the bait to get it. And then, of course, the old style leg trap, which just mainly I have them for ornamentation, but you know, that's the old style what the trappers used to use. But I have these around just in case it's necessary.
See him?
Yep.
He's just gnawing on that fucking thing.
Goes in the trap and it doesn't set him off. Look at him, just gnawing away, having a good time.
Oh,
Does it have a flip door that's supposed to close?
What's that?
Is there a door that's supposed to close?
No, he just eats it and bucks off. And
Some other style traps. This is one that I just made myself. Basically, took a good old Home Depot bucket, cut the lid off, made a little bit of a balancing thing here. And the idea, I put some weights here to keep it down. You put a little bit of bait on here on top, and then you put ramp, kind of like this is a commercial one that has a little ramp. It gets them up there, it feeds them right into this area, and it spins and drops them in. That's another option to do it. This here's a little bit of a cheaper route. You know, like I said, I just have a board that I put up here. They come in, drop in, and then you can take them out and dispose with them as you see fit. But yeah, that's a couple other variations of traps. Of course, with old out sheds and barns like this, any hole you have like this is going to let wasps in, any rodents, definitely pack rats, insects. Same way down here at the bottom. Pack rats will find a way in. Mice can do it. Anything bigger than a dime, a mouse can get in. So if you're going to have a shed and you want to protect it, you really have to work hard to protect it. Even little knot holes like this. Of course, as Dr. Bonnie said, we need to use glory holes. But it's a pretty small glory hole, and it's pretty high up. So I'm not sure you can get up that high, unless it's a really tall guy who's skinny. With the log cabin, you need to have really good chinking to keep the critters out. Even little gaps like this, mouse get in there. Just got to make sure there's no place for them to go. For bigger predators, you want a pair of shutters, something like this, to help keep out bears, or something might try to scratch in. Sometimes people will put a bear strip down below that has nails in it to keep them away. And that's usually over the winter. You know, even here this is concrete, but you can see that there's still a few little gaps in here and there. Always have to look for stuff like that. Anything like that is a little ingress point. It really depends upon how tight your logs are together. Concrete is good. Some of the older, more wilderness style uses moss and mud that they pack into here. But this particular one looks like it's pretty sealed overall. The notches are pretty tight. I mean, you have to look for little holes. If there's any light spills or night, you can be inside with a flashlight and shine it up against any corners and have a buddy outside and look and see if you can denote any areas that might have any place that these critters can get in.
Every single day, nature's insect control army consumes an estimated 5 to 15 million tons of insects worldwide, while nature's rodent control army wipes out hundreds of millions, maybe billions, of mice, rats, squirrels, and vermin worldwide. An endless feeding frenzy happening above, below, and on the ground, under the water, and frankly, all around us. To a Canadian mountain man, that's more than nature. That's survival working exactly the way it was designed, one tiny chomp at a time.
I tell you one thing, after seeing this video here, I was wondering, was it bugs that was eating the peanut butter? But these little pesky mice are so light on their feet that they're able to not set some of these traps off. I mean, look, they're really in there, got their weight on it, but man, they just must be like, they must have Air Jordans on or something, such light feet that nothing is setting these traps off. I was hoping I was going to get a snap of one of them, but look, I mean, freaking thing just pulled that trap. Nothing. And it continues to go around. I'll go back to this other one. I'll go over here. No, I'm done. Maybe I'll come back in a little bit. Oh, yep. Nope. I'm out of here. Oh. Yo. There must have been something here. I can smell them. Okay, I'm getting out of here. Okay, cue the skunk. Come on. Maybe it'll set it off. Huh? There we go.